Hi guys, welcome back to Miscellaneous Pleasures. Wow, uh, today has been one heck of a day, and tomorrow is actually promising to be equally worse in many ways because I mean, this is the first time I've done this, right? Before the start of a reaction or a video or any of these recording sort of things, I have like washed my face because when I looked at it before I started the reaction or the video, oh, it was so bad. And it was basically the face of a person who woke up at 4:45 in the morning and it is currently 10:20. It was 10:15 back then. So, about 17 and a half hours and am about to begin my two reactions for the day because I'm an idiot and I made a commitment 2 days ago that I'll do two reactions on that day. I didn't. Yesterday I made the same commitment. I didn't. So today I have to commit. I have to complete the commitment basically. And so this video is Stranger Things season 1 episode 5 and the next one would be Dark season 1 episode 5. So I just reacted to Stranger Things yesterday, about 23 hours ago. So I do have a lot of things fresh on my mind because I also completed the editing today. So I basically watched the same thing twice. Uh, yeah, like that was a pretty good episode in my opinion. We have Hopper who is about to break and enter the lab, and then we obviously had 11. We basically were shown a brilliant, in my opinion, very useful as well as an interesting power of 11, which was basically the fact that she could see somebody's photo and then like she could locate that person perhaps some way and then listen to that person's whatever he's speaking about. So that was really cool. And that power does not not only does it cover the themes, a portion of the earth, if not all, it also seems to cover different planes. Because we do know for a fact now that Will is in a different dimension and she can somehow listen to what that person has to say. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Uh, I don't have much expectations of this episode. I'm pretty sure that Hopper is, since as I said, he's going to break and enter into the lab and probably going to get caught. But what he finds out before being caught and what happens to him after he's caught will be interesting to see because I'm pretty sure he has to be caught, right? There's no way he's not getting caught, especially because he's going there alone into that, I'm sure, pretty well guarded facility. So that would be interesting. Obviously, we have Jonathan and Nancy who are uh, who basically just they're basically bonding over the fact that Jonathan's mother as well as herself, Nancy, they have basically witnessed the monster's presence in front of their eyes, or at least in their immediate surroundings. What that basically meant is that they both basically know something's sinister, supernatural, or scientifically weird, whatever you want to call it, that's happening in their town. And they probably will now try to find out more things about how this is happening, where is it happening, why is it happening, stuff like that. So that's a partnership I'm interested to see. And on the same note, I'm actually interested to see how Steve reacts to this because if Nancy starts to spend a lot of time with Jonathan, then surely Steve is not going to be happy about it, especially after what just happened like a couple of episodes ago. So yeah, that should be interesting to see. Yeah, that's all for my expectations. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with Levin. Like, I have no idea because does she have any more powers? And I mean, the plans that the kids make. First of all, they're not plans that are going to be executed perfectly because they're made by kids. They have very limited experience. I mean, to be fair, everybody has limited experience in this field, but you know what I mean. And and they're pretty, unpredictable, you could say. So yeah, that would be interesting to see what plans like Mike and Dustin and Lucas and Levin come up with. So yeah, I guess that's all for this intro. Let me begin the reaction now. Sorry, I just had to check if everything was in order. Yeah, everything is working fine. Here we go. This is the lab. Oh, what? Oh, come on. Are you telling me that those two people did not even realize that there was a person behind them? I mean, come on. But I guess this is one of the typical, again, a room that happens to be just beside him, which is open and has nobody inside it. I guess these are the cliches that you're supposed to like ignore, I guess. It's fine, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I completely forgot about this guy.
Upside down. When
Okay,
Elsa was
so
she flipped the board over, remember?
upside down is basically
Dark. Empty.
their version of saying a different dimension.
Guys, come on, just think about it. When Elle took us to find Will, she took us to his house, right?
Yeah, what the hell is this? Like, I've never been able to understand what this was. Like, it seems to like. Okay, I'm gonna pause this here for a reason. So this thing here, I haven't actually addressed it in any of my reactions. I don't think so. Or even if I have, I think I have like deleted, removed them while trimming the video. The thing which I don't understand about this thing is, I mean, let's take the example of the flash, right? It's the only thing I know where there's a different dimension. Or in that case, the Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 38. Now it's like Earth Prime and stuff like that. Like when they discovered that you could travel to another Earth, it was always through that blue color thing, which is sort of like a wormhole sort of thing, or you could call it a crack in space and time or whatever. But this thing, in my opinion, is a similar sort of thing where you know we saw like this guy. There was this guy last episode where Dr. Brenner to him, he was like, do well, son, or something like that. And then he was really upset when he died. So when he went through this sort of opening, basically, like it was like opened, right? And after he went in, it sort of closed on itself. I don't know if you can see this, I'm not sure because of the camera angle. Uh, and also when he came back, or rather his part of his like belt and rope and stuff like that came back, it again closed itself. So that has to be some sort of a living sort of thing, right? It can't close itself. It has to have some sort of a conscious mind to do that. So what I'm wondering is this part of the monster or part of the like organism or something? Like, what's the deal with this thing? Because how is it closing in on itself? Because even if we consider the monster is basically a species, right? It's a single organism. At least up until now, it looks like a single organism. It can't like divide itself into two or some shit like that. So if it's one organism from another world, then what is this? Is this like part of that organism? Is this like part of that some other organism which is like doing this sort of opening and closing thing? What is this? Like that's what I don't understand. And it's creating these sounds, and it was breathing, like diaphragm movement sort of thing was happening in the first episode, I remember. What the hell? Oh, it's those guys.
Alone.
At least now, at least she has somebody
You're upset. We all are. You need to listen to me.
with,
Your
that
mom
believes in
is
her.
sick. Really sick. Yeah. You being here, you're just making things worse, like
Worse?
always. Yeah. She took down that wall with an axe. She said that Will was inside it, that he's talking to her.
Maybe he was.
This isn't some kind of joke. Your mom was half frozen to death when I got here, trembling, scared out of her mind. You come in here and you start feeding into her hallucinations, or whatever the hell you want to call it. You're gonna push her right over the edge.
This guy is behaving exactly how I thought he would.
You hear me?
Like I even mentioned it in the last ending of the last reaction where I was like,
I'm here to
this guy being here is not going to help anything because
things better around here for all.
he knows I'm close to nothing.
Glad you're here.
Do me a favor. The funeral tomorrow, just behave.
And the moment Jonathan learnt of something and like he could help now, this guy being there is not going to help anybody's thing. And this guy is sort of like bossing around people. I do understand that he is the father, but come on.
Supposed to be a little tight.
Okay. Wait. Is oh, this is going to be very interesting if this turns out to be true. Like that dog, right? Can his dog like recognize his presence? Like if Will was hiding in that castle buyers thing in the upside down, does the dog know that? Like can the dog like feel it or something? Because if it could, then that will be quite interesting, right?
We are here today to find comfort in the truth of Scripture and to surround Will.
Who is
Wait
this?
till we tell Will that Jennifer Haynes was crying at his funeral.
Oh, guys, come on. Oh, he's checking if his house has bugs or something, right? That's intelligent. I like this guy more and more every bloody episode. Like, he. I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought of that at all. I mean, I suppose if I was in his position, then I might have, but. This is really cool. And he's sort of like this perfect guy, right? Like since he's like takes a lot of drugs, I'm guessing, and drinks a lot, and is really develops a different type of reputation. So if you would tell the outside world that this guy like overdosed or something, or he's crazy, then people would actually believe that he was crazy. And he has found a bug.
Carl Sagan talks about other dimensions, like beyond our world.
Yeah, sure. Theoretically.
Right, theoretically.
So, theoretically, how do we travel there?
You guys have been thinking about Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, haven't you? Well, basically, there are parallel universes, just like our world, but just infinite variations of it.
Yeah, so
Which means there's a world out there where none of this tragic stuff ever happened.
yeah, it's like the decision stuff, right?
Oh,
We were thinking of more of an evil dimension, like the Veil of Shadows. You know the Veil of Shadows?
echo of the material plane where necrotic and shadow magic.
Yeah, exactly. If that did exist, a place like the Veil of Shadows, how would we travel there?
Theoretically.
Well,
You'd have to be fast enough to rip through the space-time barrier,
picture
as Barry would say.
an acrobat standing on a tightrope. Now, the tightrope is our dimension, and our dimension has rules. You can move forwards or backwards.
Okay.
But what if, right next to our acrobat, there is a flea? The flea
Okay.
can also travel back and forth, just like the acrobat, right?
Right.
But it can also move.
Really interesting.
Okay, wow,
So
that's
travel this way, along the side of the rope,
that I guess is a very good explanation of.
underneath the rope.
Upside down.
Exactly.
But we're not the flea, we're the acrobat.
Yeah.
This metaphor, yes, we're the acrobat.
So, we can't go upside down?
No,
Well, is there any way for the Acrobat to get to the Upside Down?
You'd have to probably travel with,
You'd have to create a massive amount of energy, more than humans are currently capable of creating, mind you, to open up some kind of tear in
yeah,
time and space.
there is time and space.
You create a doorway.
Like a gate?
Sure, like a gate.
Okay, so that thing is
This
a,
is all
Theoretical.
But what?
so that thing that we have been seeing, like we have seen at least 3 or 4 times inside the Hawkins lab, the thing that closes on itself. Yeah, so that's basically the gate. That's kind of obvious. And obviously, Hawkins lab was doing some experiments. And through those experiments, they opened that thing. They probably created that high amount of energy, right? To basically rip time and space, and that's how this has all been happening. So we obviously now know that,
well, if it did, I think we'd know.
yeah, we do know.
Disrupt gravity, magnetic field, our environment. Heck, it might even swallow us up whole. Science is neat, but I'm afraid it's not very forgiving.
It's landed a bus station.
Funny, right?
Really.
Doing our job for us.
So obviously,
It's funny.
they are covering the tracks of the monster.
Off his meds again?
I'm guessing it's
Too
because,
much time Joyce buys. That's what I think.
like, they're probably trying to cover up the fact that they made some sort of a mistake. I mean, I'm guessing it's a mistake. That's why, like, this whole monster thing is happening in the first place. So maybe they are just covering up the, like, evidence. They're like, I think they're like the
Doing?
basically giving an explanation to all the bad things that have been happening. Actually, being to the upside down.
Dustin, what are you doing? Dustin! Dustin! Dustin!
I need to see your compasses.
What?
Your compasses. All of your compasses right now.
Yeah, so if there is any magnetic field, like an issue with it,
What's exciting about this?
Well, they're all facing north, right?
yeah,
So? Well, that's not true north.
What do
yeah,
you
that's magnetic
Not
north.
exactly what I just said. That's not true north. Are you both seriously this dense?
Yeah, that's magnetic
So
north.
it rises in the east and it sets in the west, right? Which means that's true north.
So what you're saying is the compasses are broken.
Not all of them. I mean, come on.
Do you even understand how a compass works? Do you see a battery pack on this?
No.
No, you don't, because it doesn't need one. The needle's naturally drawn to the Earth's magnetic north pole.
So, what's wrong with him?
Well, that's what I couldn't figure out, but then I
Yeah,
realized
so if
you can change the direction of a compass with a magnet. If there's
a
the presence of
super
more
powered
magnetic
magnet.
field, the needle deflects to that power. And then I remembered what Mr. Clarke said. The gate would have so much power.
Disrupt the electromagnetic field.
Exactly.
Meaning, if we follow the
The compass.
compasses north,
Then you're supposed to reach the gate. Yeah, that's perfect actually. I mean, I have to give credit to the kids, right? They basically figured out about the upside down, and they have asked the questions, and then they have figured out how to use the answers to those questions, like a compass in this case, within the first 25 minutes of this episode. I just think it's brilliant. And meanwhile, we have seen Jonathan and Nancy come up with a plan where he basically stole a gun and they're going to like kill the monster with a gun. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but at least this sort of a plan. If this were being executed by better people, I think this would be a very good plan. Because, yeah, the true North thing, that is just genius. That did not even click to me that you could use a compass for some reason.